Could Seiya Suzuki be a top trade target for the Seattle Mariners? I'm going to break down that question today on Mariners Daily. My name is Sam Edwards. I appreciate you watching the show. If you haven't already, freaking subscribe to the channel and get daily Mariners updates, topics, breakdowns, whatever you're looking for. We've got it here on the show. So I appreciate you being here. First off the docket, we got a couple top prospects promoted up to AAA. Lazaro Montes and Michael Arroyo have been moving up from the Travelers in Double A to the Rainiers in freaking Tacoma. And yeah, man, I'm happy. I'm happy for them. They've been killing it at the Double A level. This was their kind of second go, both of them at the Double A level. So we're going to break this down real quick. Michael Arroyo, this season so far, 297 plate appearances in Double A, 10 home runs, 13 stolen bases. The speed is still there. 8.1 walk percentage, 16.5 K percentage, keeping the strikeouts in check, 169 isolated power. 317 BABIP, 287 batting average, 364 on base, 456 slugging. That's a 125 runs created plus in Double A for Arroyo. Definitely an improvement than what we saw in Double A last year. In a little bit less plate appearances, 250 plate appearances in Double A in 2025 for Arroyo. Only 2 home runs at that point, 9 stolen bases, but a 12 walk percentage, which is a bit that's a big difference. However, the power has really come through this season. He has a 169 isolated power so far this year, whereas last year in Double A he had a .087 isolated power. So huge difference there. He was still hitting well because if you just look at the runs created plus, they're very similar. A 123 runs created plus in Double A in 2025 versus 125 so far this season. Basically the same. However, he's doing it in different ways. And I think it's a little bit more sustainable the way he's doing it right now. It's good to see the power kind of come through. Whereas last year it was mainly the walk percentage, 12 walk percentage, which is great. You know me, man. I love a freaking walk, but the power was not there. You know, it was a 255 batting average and a 341 on base versus a 287 batting average and a 456 on base. Now, is the hard contact actually there for Arroyo? I don't know because I don't have access to freaking minor league hard hit rates and such. They don't produce them as far as I know. And if they do, freaking leave the link in the comments. Holy crap, that would change my life, I think. I know they do for AAA. I know Fangraphs keeps track of the Savant metrics for AAA, which is great, and we'll get to see how they do. But I've got nothing for AA, so here we are. Good for Arroyo. He's a righty hitting infielder slash outfielder. He has not been highly marked defensively throughout his career. He's played mostly second base coming up. This year, he's kind of split his time pretty evenly between second base and left field, playing a couple games at DH as well. I'm curious to see if he gets a opportunity coming up in a couple of months in September, possibly when the rosters expand to 28 men. It's a serious possibility, I think. Arroyo has done very well throughout all levels of the minors, and it's good to see that he kind of learned to master Double A, and we'll see what he does in Triple A. Now, Triple A is a very offensive friendly environment, so I did see the notion floated out there that maybe they are promoting both Arroyo and Montes as like to puff up their stats a little bit in Triple A to maybe get them traded possibly. It's a possibility. I don't know. It's not a guarantee that we're going to hold on to Arroyo and Montez, but Mariners are one of those teams that do love to hold on to their guys. So I don't know, man. I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll see. We are willing to trade a player that is clearly blocked. Shout out to Harry Ford. So we'll see. Montez also has done fantastic this season in Double A. 339 plate appearances for Lazaro Montes, 25 home runs, 5 stolen bases, a 15.9 walk percentage. Very good. The K percentage is at 30.4%, which is pretty consistent with where he's been throughout his career. Now, you know me. As soon as it hits a 30K percentage, I get scared. And honestly, the only reason I get scared is just because it just means that you're probably going to be inconsistent. Probably going to have an amazing month. Well, sorry, if you're a good hitter with a high K percentage, you're probably going to be very streaky, very hot and cold. An amazing month here, a very cold month there. So it's not something that you could bank on every day. Whew. 317 isolated power for Montez. That's the difference maker right there. Last year in Double A, in 282 plate appearances, he had a 221 isolated power, which is very good. But 317 isolated power with the walk percentage increase as well. It went from 12.4% to 15.9% this season in a bigger sample size so far this year. Montez is killing it, dude. 25 home runs. He's got a 144 runs created plus so far this season in Double A compared to his 122 runs created plus last year in Double A. He's improved. He's gotten better. I love to see it. And I think he's just going to continue to rake in AAA. And I'm curious to see what happens with Montez. I think Montez is the guy that could get traded here. But at the same time, so he's played regularly in right field. But at the same time, Randy Arozarena is going to be a free agent this coming off season. We are going to have a free left field. And I could easily see either Rayleigh and Canzone just moving over to left field or Montez moving over there as well. I know he hasn't ranked super highly defensively throughout his career. He's played right field almost exclusively throughout his career. So we'll see what happens. The bat obviously is moving quick. And, I wouldn't hate a guy like Montez in this lineup. So another strong lefty bat is great, but we just have a lot of them. So we'll see what happens. I think Rayleigh is also actually a free agent at the end of the season. Could be wrong about that. I'd have to do a double check. I should have known that already. But yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I don't know I don't know. They could trade one or both of them, or they could hold on to both of them and say that they're going to stay there long term. Or you could say Arroyo is more likely to be traded because he doesn't really have a position right now. Anytime teams start moving guys around, it just feels like it's imminent that a guy's going to get traded. But at the same time, if they like Arroyo, if they like the bat, he's a righty bat as well, which is I've been talking about trading for righty bats, which speaking of, we've got an option. Seiya Suzuki in the latest article from Jeff Passan, produced that yesterday. He mentioned Seiya Suzuki as an option to be traded, and he listed the Mariners as a fit. Well, let's talk about the player. Let's do a little deep dive here. How is he doing this season? Well, first blush, I heard Seiya Suzuki, and I was like, hell freaking yeah, baby. Let's go get him. Contract is up at the end of this season. He is going to be a free agent. He's a righty power bat. Doing pretty well this season, but let's get under the hood. Let's see what we're working with, and let's see if he's going to continue this success. So far this season, he's got 317 plate appearances, 13 home runs, a 10.7 walk percentage, a manageable 26.5 K percentage, pretty much in line with where he usually is. 184 isolated power, 328 BABIP, batting average on balls in play if you're new here. 264 batting average, 347 on base, 448 slugging, good slash line, a 345 WOBA, however, a 325 expected WOBA. We're going to get there in a second. 119 runs created plus, 1.6 for on the season. He also crushes lefties. Versus left-handed pitching this season, 86 plate appearances. He's hitting 282 with a 384 on base and a 451 slugging. That's an 834 OPS and a 128 runs created plus versus lefty pitching. Okay, couple things to break down there. Comparing this to last year he had an amazing season. He had a great season, batting wise, especially a 651 plate appearances last year, 32 home runs. He had the 10.9 walk percentage, a 25.2 K percentage. He hit 245 with a 326 on base and a 478 slugging. That was good for a 123 runs created, plus right in line with what we are seeing so far this season. So, why am I putting an emphasis on this? Well, we are seeing a solid dip from Suzuki. I still think he is a good above average hitter, but I don't think he is to the level that he was in 2025. And if he is, I'm going to need to see that improvement show itself because we have seen a very clear decline so far this season, especially in the quality of contact metrics. 89.3 exit velocity so far this season compared to 91.3 last year. That's 2 miles per hour. That is substantial enough, in my opinion, for exit velocity. Barrel percentage. He is at 8.6 barrel percentage so far this season compared to 16.6 last year. That is substantial. Anything around 10 or above is like above average. Like that's a good mark. But 8.7, you got to make a lot of contact. And Suzuki is not a mainly, contact batter. Hence the 245 batting average last year and the 264 batting average so far this season. That's higher, and it's mainly because of an unsustainable BABIP. He's at a 328 BABIP so far this season compared to 282 last year. I don't think he deserves that 328 BABIP, and I think it's going to come down a little bit, just due to the heart of the quality of contact. His hard hit percentage is still good. It's at a 40.8, so I don't think he's a bad hitter necessarily. I just don't think he is as good as 2025 was because the hard hit percentage last year was at 48%. 8% difference in hard hit percentage, almost half the barrel percentage. Yes, it was like insane last year, so it's not like he's bad. Once again, he's not a bad hitter. He's just not half as good. He's not as good as he was last year. There's a very clear dip, and this is where stats like WOBA and expected WOBA can really come in handy here because he's got a 345 BABIP so far. Sorry guys, so sorry. He's got a 345 WOBA this season compared to 343 last year. However, he's got a 325 expected WOBA, 20-point drop compared to last year, which was at 352 expected WOBA. So I think it's clear he's taken a step back this season. But if you look at the WAR, the wins above replacement, he's doing better this season. So what's going on? The defense has improved dramatically. He was at a -1 fielding run value last year and barely played that much. He did not play even half a season worth of outfield. He was DHing most of the time. This time they have given him full reign in right field, and he's got a +4 fielding run value, which is 82nd percentile overall. The arm has improved dramatically. The outs above average has improved dramatically. Like giving him a full time outfielder spot. I don't know if it's just because of the consistency or if he actually made some changes. But his defense is actually like a huge change. But either way, he's improved dramatically defensively, which could be huge for a team like the Mariners. That would be so great. Long story short, I would love to trade for Seiya Suzuki. I think he's still a very good player and would be a improvement on this team. Now, this depends on two things. Number one, what would the Cubs want for Seiya Suzuki for half a season, for less than half a season of Seiya Suzuki? Number two, would the Cubs trade him? Well, this is kind of where I think Jeff Passan throwing Seiya Suzuki out there doesn't really make sense because the Cubs the Cubs are winning. The Cubs are in a wild card spot at the very least. They're doing very well. They're 10 games above 500. They have a better record than the Mariners. They have a better run differential than the Mariners. They're 10 games above 500. They are 6.5 back of first place, which is substantial, but not out of the realm of possibility. 6.5 back of first. They are +2 games up in the wild card. So why would they trade Seiya Suzuki? I really don't see them doing a little swim spin move and try and like nickel and dime this thing and trade Seiya Suzuki for a player that like helps you right now and then a prospect as well. Like I just don't see the Cubs doing that. I don't see them as that type of team. They're winning. They're doing well. They're +46 run differential compared to the Mariners 27. which is good. Mariners have a good run differential, the only team in the AOS that has a positive run differential. And the Mariners are doing pretty good by American League standards because most of the American League is not doing well at all, and the National League is killing it. Hence why the Cubs are 10 games above 500 and still 6.5 games back of their division. And that's not the division the Dodgers are in. They're behind the freaking Brewers, you know? National League is crazy. Long story short, the Cubs are not going to trade Seiya Suzuki as of right now. They would have to collapse. They would have to fall apart. So, just not going to happen, man. Not going to happen. Uh, I wish. I wish. Next, I wanted to talk about with all of this trade talk and all of these like players that we want to add. I want to talk about what could have been with Okamoto and Murakami. Both players are doing fantastic. Both players are doing staunchly better than expected. Let's start with Okamoto. He was kind of the guy that I was the most excited for. He got paid more, 4 years, $60 million. He is profiled way differently than I expected him to be. 359 plate appearances so far for Okamoto on the Blue Jays. We saw him in that series this past weekend. 20 home runs so far, 9.2 walk percentage, a 31.5 K percentage. That is definitely higher than I was expecting. 223 isolated power. He's hitting 235 this season with a 315 on base and a 458 slugging. Is it an insane season? No, not really. Would it have helped us quite a bit this season? Yeah, absolutely. He's played. And the guy that we went for instead, Brendan Donovan, has not played that much. Okamoto's got triple the plate appearances and has produced the 115 runs created plus, which is not amazing, but it's solid. 20 home runs is nice. He's got a +2 F4 on the season, playing mostly third base. Okamoto's doing better than JP Crawford is, you know? He's doing better than Brendan Donovan is. But he costs more too. 4 years, 60 mil. We would have had to pay him. And that would have probably handcuffed us in some other way. So, just a note, Murakami is an interesting one. He is doing better than I expected him to do as well. 246 plate appearances, so he does not have as much of the playing time. He's gotten injured. 20 home runs as well. A 17.9 walk percentage. That's crazy. A 32.5 K percentage, pretty high itself. A 320 isolated power. He's hitting 240 with a 378 on base and a 560 slugging percentage. A 397 WOBA, 379 expected WOBA. So there is a drop there, but still 379 expected WOBA is nothing to scoff at. 156 runs created +2 WAR on the season. He only got paid 2 years, $34 million. Probably going to opt out after this season. He has proved himself fully. The quality of contact metrics are insane for Murakami. 94 exit velocity, a 20.7 barrel percentage, and a 58.7 hard hit percentage. The quality of contact metrics are also very good for Okamoto as well. 91 exit velocity, 91 miles per hour, 14.9 barrel percentage, and a 48.6 hard hit percentage. Those are great marks as well. Both guys would have been huge for us. Would have been huge. But looking back on it, I'm doing 2020 vision here. Just want to see what could have been. Not saying I was on board with either one of them. I was on board with Okamoto for sure. Murakami didn't really make sense on this team because we had just added Josh Naylor. We added him so quickly, and there was no shot we were going to spend more money on just a first baseman. They knew they needed a third baseman. Okamoto could have been that option. We went with Brendan Donovan instead. I was okay with it at the time. Okamoto got more money than I was expecting, but Murakami got less money than I was expecting. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Murakami's definitely doing better. Good for him. With that being said, I'd love to hear what you guys' top targets are for the Mariners. I'd love to hear who you guys think could be a good trade option. I've thrown out a lot of different options, especially last week, went on a run. all last week of a lot of different episodes. So I would encourage you to go check that out. A lot of different outfielders, a lot of different righty, lefty killing outfielders that I think could be serious options. So let me know in the comments who you're interested in and freaking subscribe, baby. Lock in. Have a good one, guys.